Hi, this is Chase Hill, and I have with me today one of the most coveted interviews in probably the history of mankind. And that is an interview with the superhero, the Dark Knight, or rather known as Batman.
I'm sorry about that. I happen to have
That's
a pretty strong grip. I'm sorry.
Well, you are a superhero.
You know, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. Yes.
I'd love to ask you, and we'd like to delve deep into who you are. Who is Batman?
I see.
Now, of course, we don't really know your identity. You can't give that away, can you?
Of course not. I would never give that away.
So, Batman, let me ask you, what would you consider your greatest fear?
My greatest fear?
Yeah.
Well, considering that I am the Batman, I don't tend to have that many fears, but overall, I have to say being eaten by an octopus would probably rank quite up there.
Parents, what do your parents think of this whole superhero thing, or do they even know? I guess that's really the question, isn't it?
Oh, well, let's see here. We'll begin, early on. Of course, everybody knows my parents happen to have been killed while exiting a theater, and
Your parents were killed, so the movies are true then?
yes and no.
Okay.
They don't portray me as well as I'd like, but overall, pretty well. They do it pretty well.
So what you're saying is your parents don't think anything of it because they're dead?
True. Good point. Absolutely.
Batman, what do you do when you're not saving people, when you're not, being Batman? What do you like to do in your free time, I guess I might say? And do you have a girlfriend? Do you?
Good question. That's actually where it all started. My whole parents' death and all. But I had so much time after work. I come off work and I just had nothing to do. I was like, what should I fill my time with? And considering I am a multi-billionaire, I decided to come up with this awesome costume, work out a little bit, and become a superhero. And that's where it all started. And so, mainly, as Batman, I do this, but on my free time, outside of Batman and work, usually I like to get on the good old Xbox. I could totally kill Chuck Norris.
Really?
Oh yes.
Why?
Oh yes.
We want to know why, because, to be honest with you, I'm quite afraid of Chuck Norris. You don't make me as scared as Chuck Norris does. I've seen the rage in his eyes.
Well, that's it. See, most people don't even get the chance to look into my eyes because I'm so swift. But Chuck Norris, I let him do the movies and all that. But I tend to be for the people. That's his problem. He's never for the people. He's always mainly for himself, and that's how I will always win.
One last question before we end the first part of our interview here. What would you say? What do you think? What would you say? How do you respond to those movies and how they depict you? Do you think that they do a fair job? Do you think they treat you unfairly?
Well, it's always nice to be on the big screen. I mean, who else would not want to be on the big screen? But they do a pretty good job, but they really don't get my true muscular body into it.
Really?
Yeah, I think they try. They get close, but not quite enough. And it's kind of hard to see somebody else trying to reenact me because they just can't really grasp it. But
who is Batman? What have we learned tonight in our first part of this great epic interview? What have we learned? We've learned that, first of all, he is a wonderful man. And he cares about the people. But I will say this, I think there's more to Batman than meets the eye. I think there's more underneath that mask. Be with us next time when we find out more about Batman.